So Spike made me want to be a filmmaker. I saw him, he had just done this movie School Days, and I was visiting my dad. My dad lived in Nashville, and he was speaking at this school. And so I'm like, oh, that's the guy that just did School Days. So I went to go see him, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's black. You know what I'm saying? he was a black dude, and he had on like the Gamma Phi Gamma Adidas and the hoodie, and I'm a sneaker guy. So I was like, yo, and then he was going back and
black.
Yeah, exactly. He was going back and forth with one of the fraternities about what he put in the show, and he was like, I don't care about you, I'm from Brooklyn. And I was like, that's what I want to do right there. What's happening? It's your boy Rob Hardy, director, producer, and catch me on this week's episode of I Do Film with my girl, Cardellia Hunter.
Award-winning director, producer, screenwriter, and overall businessman. This FAMU grad and Philly native is a man of many talents. He founded his own production company back in 1994 with business partner Will Packer, and now has Rainforest Entertainment to his name. He's done films such as Toi, Think Like a Man 1 and 2, Stomp The Yard, and more. His television credits include, but aren't limited to, The Power series, Vampire Diaries, and two of my all-time favorites, All American and Criminal Minds. His versatility and never-ending grind has brought him to where he is today. I Do Film family, please welcome Mr. Rob Hardy.
Hey, appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Hey, listen, so excited that you're here, very humbled. Me and you, we can sit and talk for hours and hours, but I know that the listeners really want to know who Rob Hardy is and what's your story. But before we even get into that, we're going to do a little icebreaker with a little this and that. You cool?
I'm cool.
All right, cool. Money or power?
Power.
Directing or producing?
Directing.
To think like a man or think like a woman?
Think like a man.
TV or movies?
TV.
Mm-hmm. Black and gold or orange and green? Ooh, it took you too long to answer that one.
Black and gold.
Okay. We're going to go black and gold?
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? it's the tough one. I'm going to go black and gold, but orange and green is like right there.
I know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the orange and green got you to
become
that black
100%,
and gold.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. So listen, you started your career back in high school as a senior when you shot a movie titled G-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you expect your career to take off the way it has?
No. I shot G-Man as a, there was a movie that came out years ago called Blank Man, like the superhero movie with Damon Wayans. And G-Man was like that. Just us messing around with a camcorder, and we edited it. And then we had a screening for it at school in the auditorium, and some folks were like, yo, you should do this. And I remember thinking, really? And that was the first time that, I thought about the idea of having a career, but I never thought that it would lead to movies, TVs, and, years later, me still being here.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was high school.
Yeah.
Now we're in college. We're at FAMU. And you made this low-budget movie called Chocolate City.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And I think down the line after that, your dad invested in you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So my old school pops was like, filmmakers not a real career. Sound like a scam. We don't know any filmmakers. So I couldn't major in film. I majored in engineering. Mm-hmm. So me and Will Packer, who's my friend and then business partner, we're both engineering majors. And so his whole thing was like, I'm not supporting any of that movie stuff until you graduate and get that piece of paper. Because I think he was afraid that we would leave school and, try to do that. So once we graduated and moved to Atlanta, we had this proposal to do this movie called Toi with Kenya Moore from The Housewives. And so he invested a little bit of money in that. It wasn't enough to make the movie, but it was just enough to say, hey, I support you.
Right.
Yeah.
So with Chocolate City, is that where you got the bug to be this director? Yeah,
I think that because I had done something in high school and I felt like, I'd like to go to grad school maybe for film. And I was at this engineering internship, which I hated. It was the most boring thing ever. Menace to Society came out, which is one of my favorite movies at that time. So I went and saw the movie. It was Kane and O-Dog and all that stuff. And I was like, man, I want to do something else. And so my friends were like, well, hey, you did that project in high school. Why don't you do something at FAMU? And so I would get my work done and then I would take the rest of my time on my job to write the script for Chocolate City, and that's how it happened.
Okay, so we finished FAMU,
Yeah,
and we moved to Atlanta.
yeah.
I mean, really, how I know that was the start of your career, but how did it really start taking off once you got here?
Coming to Atlanta was great and tough. It was exciting because the Olympics were here. Me and Will drove a U-Haul to Jonesboro, the metropolis, and so we were down there. And we had all these big plans. And so a lot of times when you're in school, your passion is your side hustle, you're thinking, well, if I could do it full time, I'd be rich by now. Well, it didn't quite happen like that because then once you finish and you make all those calls, do all those meetings in the first 2 months, and you still dead broke. So we wound up having to create opportunities to keep the lights on. So we did workout videos, wedding videos. We cleaned up shoe modeling establishments. You know what I'm saying? We moved furniture, anything that we could do that was legal to keep it going on the side, so that way during the day we could keep pushing our film hustle is what we did.
So it seems like back then, compared to today,
Yeah.
was it much harder back then to get into the industry than right now? Do you think it's a little more easier?
I think it is easier to get into the industry now because the tools are right there. So you can edit on your phone, you can market directly to people with the internet. There are all these programs, pathway programs to get you in. They're looking for new directors, new storytellers. So many contests. Back then, the access was very limited. Television was closed. You had like very few places to get into. So the hustle was just so much harder. But it was also like this interesting time because you had all these aspiring filmmakers that were trying to distribute their own stuff. So it felt like you were like in this cutting edge version of we want to release movies and do this and be, indie people. So that was love.
Yeah. So you said that back then, TV and stuff was much closed in.
Yeah.
What was networking like back then? Because I can imagine that it was much harder to network then than now with all the different outlets that we have.
Yeah, so back then Atlanta was a very cliquish place.
Yeah.
So it was big for music videos. You had all the local acts that I loved, Dungeon Family and Kilo Ali and all those folks that were really doing the thing. And so we were kind of like outsiders trying to get into that. But there also were like these other pockets of communities, underground rock scene and, few filmmakers here and there. And so we got a chance to kind of network with each other and figure out how to go to film festivals and do stuff. And the spirit of it was you got to create your own stuff. You got to raise your own money. You got to hustle yourself. And we kind of wore that like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Because
like you said, when you came here, or I still say today that it still can be a little cliquish if you don't know the ins and outs.
Yeah.
I mean, here two brothers coming in from Florida, from FAMU, definitely from different Philly, from where you came from, the warm perceptive. You had to kind of make your own lane, correct?
Yeah.
And I can imagine that was hard in itself.
It was trying to come in and get started, from scratch here. The good thing was that Chocolate City was on home video by then, so it made us legit. So then you could say, no, we got a movie in Blockbuster. And it's like, oh, you did that Black college movie. It's like, yeah. And then when we started doing festivals, it was interesting because everybody that we met was either from New York or LA. And it was, if I'm being stereotypical, you either came from the Spike Lee tree or the John Singleton tree. And then there was us, and we were the Georgia guys. So they would just be like, "Oh, you guys, those country folks from Georgia," and so we felt away. Like, "Yeah, we from Atlanta.
Man, I like
what's up? And that just fueled us to work harder and hustle harder.
Yeah. So you mentioned Spike Lee and John Singleton, right? And you're a phenomenal director. Did you pick up any pieces from their style? Who would you say Rob Hardy is, or what kind of style do you use? Like any inspiration from? Might not be them two, but who's your inspiration?
So Spike made me want to be a filmmaker. Okay. I saw him. He had just done this movie, School Days. and I was visiting my dad. My dad lived in Nashville, and he was speaking at this school. And so I'm like, oh, that's the guy that just did School Days. So I went to go see him, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's black. You know what I'm saying? He was a black dude, and he had on like the Gamma Phi Gamma Adidas and the hoodie, and I'm a sneaker guy. So I was like, yo, and then he was going back and
black.
yeah, exactly. He was going back and forth with one of the fraternities about what he put in the show, and he was like, I don't care about you, I'm from Brooklyn. And I was like, that's what I want to do right there. So I always that inspired me to want to be a filmmaker. And then when I started going to the then Acapulco Black Film Festival, I met Robert Townsend and John Singleton. And both of them were cool. They were supportive. They gave me advice. And it meant a lot to me as a filmmaker to be able to see established people that, were approachable and, were really giving.
Yeah. Wow, imagine. So throughout your journey, like what has been some of your biggest challenges in this industry?
Some of the biggest challenges in this industry to me have been, number one, staying inspired to keep fighting the fight. Sometimes if you get told no or something takes a lot longer than you expect, you may start to question whether or not that's for you or not. But really, that's just an opportunity to pivot, to say, oh, well, I thought it was going to be movies, but now it's TV. Or I thought it was going to be scripted, but now it's non-scripted. Or now I got a podcast. I think it's always being open to whatever the new thing is. And as long as you're telling the story, you're still doing it. And the other thing that's been interesting has just been the politics.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Just, do you get the job? Or once you get the job, what do you have to do to be able to be creative on the job based upon who your boss is or however that goes? And trying to figure those things out have been challenging. But, look, if I was digging dishes, it'd still be the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just to piggyback off of what you just said, what makes Rob Hardy continuously hired for projects?
What makes me continuously hired for projects? I would like to think that it's because I'm good at what I do and I enjoy people and I enjoy telling stories. And I like meeting new people. I like the challenge of how do we tell this story so that way people who aren't from here can relate to it. Like, what's the human aspect of this that makes you say, all right, whether it's a vampire, a drug dealer, you know what I'm saying, a kid dealing with stuff, or an alien, what makes that relatable to somebody in Africa, South America, China, or, Anchorage, Alaska? How do I do that as a kid from Philly that lives in the A?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, good. So listen, you started off in films, right?
Yeah.
And then somewhere up in 2007, you pivoted to TV with ER.
Yeah.
Wow. What was that transition like? What type of change was that for you? Because TV is much faster.
It is. So the change was humbling and exciting at the same time. So Will and I have been business partners, for years. I wrote and directed a lot of the stuff that we did. He produced it all. And then when we did Stomp the Yard, the studio wanted a music video director. Got this guy, Sylvan White, amazing director, knocked it out of a park. But after the success of it, people were like, well, you're not a director, you're a producer. Like, you can't direct me, Rob, you can only produce. So it felt like my window for directing was closing because everybody was telling me that I had to be this person. So then I started doing television. And so I had to apprentice to get in. So I had to take a step back. And I'm thinking, I've already done these movies, I got to go back to school. But and Stomp the Yard actually came out when I was apprenticing for ER. So it was the #1 movie in the country. And people were like, isn't that your movie? I'm like, yeah. They're like, cool. But can you run me these copies right quick? You know what I'm saying? So it was very humbling there. But it also allowed me to learn from other directors that I shadowed. Television, is very specific. So they'll say, hey, Cardellia, we need you on July 13th to be on the set to shoot this, and you're going to be done by August 17th. movies, you're always setting the movie up. Is it going to happen? Did it push 2 months? Did, the exec get fired and now was kicked down a year? So television, you get to work as a director because it's very specific because it has to be on the air.
I think you like that too.
So I like the fact that you get a chance to direct.
Yes.
And every episode, like I said, is very different.
Yeah. Interesting. You had to start all the way from scratch on ER. I can imagine you just like, for real, I'm here.
Yes.
But that's what you really wanted to do. So that's what you did to hone your craft.
And as making films, I have my FAMU homeboy in the saddle with me. So we're doing this together. We're hiring the people. In television, you're by yourself. And as a visiting director, it's like being a temporary player, like your quarterback comes in and you just hire somebody else to come onto the team and say, hey, now don't mess it up. If you dazzle us, you can stay for more than one game. So you're always trying to represent and have a vision and still do what everybody else needs you to do.
Oh, okay. So I just learned something in regards to being like a visitor
Yes.
director on there.
Yes.
Which happens a lot, correct? So
100%.
It's really norm. So if someone kind of mess up the flow, do we cut what they did and keep moving as that director? Like, say, for instance, I'm coming and I'm directing season 3, episode 2.
Yeah.
If I mess up, if you don't like it, if it don't go to the flow, can it be taken out?
So what'll happen is that if you're a visiting director on a show, and you'll talk to the producers about what they like and so on and so forth. So they want you to do it in a way that way the look of the show still feels the same.
Okay.
But they want you to do enough creatively so that way you enhance the material. They want you to direct.
Okay.
But within these guidelines, right? So they're gonna say, hey, here's a picture of a clown. We want it to be a clown. Stay in these lines, but it can be whatever color clown you want it to be, and whatever design clown. So what happens is that you'll be there doing your thing, and then some of the folks on the crew, especially the cinematographer, director of photography, will say, hey, Cardellia, you may want to make sure you also get a couple of these shots too, because the producers like that. Then that way you have some things to cover you.
Okay.
So that way, no matter what, they can still make the show that they want to make, but when you hand in your cut, you do whatever you want to do. So you're auditioning, here's my vision for it. But I've given you all the elements that you need to make your show. Yeah. So then the producers can say, oh, love what she did. I don't like that, but I love these 5. And then we'll put this stuff with those 5, and that's your episode.
Oh, okay. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Listeners, you guys hear that? Directing is a little tedious a little bit.
Yeah. But you can still do your thing creatively.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what's your favorite type of genre of work?
Favorite genre? I really don't really have a favorite type of genre. It's more so character driven.
Okay.
I'm also about like who's the character, who we following, does it feel real and interesting? And as long as it makes sense, I'm a logic guy.
Okay.
So sometimes I just need to understand why everybody's doing what they do so that way I can make the audience understand that. But if you're just saying, oh, it's because I said so, well, that's not really working for me. You know what I'm saying? So I just need, stories that feel real and relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to ask you something and hope this doesn't get you in trouble. You've directed many of great talent. Favorite? Why? Don't get in trouble. Now.
No, it's all good. Listen, I've worked with a lot of people for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah. And I won't even say favorite, maybe easy to work with or something.
Okay. A person that was really easy to work with, that was extremely talented, is Forrest Whitaker.
Wow. Okay.
So he had just won the Oscar, for Last King of Scotland. We were working together, and amazing talent.
Amazing.
And it completely was not about I've won the Oscar. He's a regular dude. So if you're in awe of him, then it'll totally destroy the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Because he like, listen, I put on my pants.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he was really cool. But he always wanted more. He always wanted to take it further. So, if I said, we got it, we're good. He'd say, well, tell me what kind of car I was driving on the way over here. And I was like, well, we never saw the car. Well, just tell me what it is. Cool, it was a blue van. Great, let's go again. And then he'll take that information and turn it into something that influences his performance. So over time, I just started giving other people notes around him that I wouldn't tell him, just to give him more ways to react to different things.
Wow. Wow.
Because he would always stay in character. And then when I say cut, he's like, oh, I didn't know he was going to do that. My fault. I didn't mean to hit him in the face. I'm like, nah, it was perfect. It was perfect.
You did just what I needed you to do.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you've done so many great works for the screen, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk about behind the screen. Let's talk about Amazing Stories Foundation. How did it come about? What is its main purpose? And what do you see the future for it?
So Amazing Stories, the Amazing Stories Foundation is a trainee program to go into our neighborhoods and identify people and train them how to be production assistants for below the line positions. And what below the line is not actors or directors or writers that do the creative stuff, but it's everything else from camera, sound, editing, driving trucks, cooking food, all of that. I call that the jobs that my cousin can do, because you may not necessarily be the best writer or the best actor, but you can, pull some cable or help lock down the street. And in those positions, you can make really good money. You can get health insurance, a pension, join a union. So I was excited by that because a lot of times when I would shoot on these shows, I might be one of the very few people of color. And so then, especially because I would come to Atlanta, I would feel like, well, I can't be on these sets, and these sets don't reflect what Atlanta is as far as people. So we talked about it earlier.
Yes.
If I'm shooting in South Central, we kind of need some South Central people on our show. Native American, reservation. We need some Native Americans on this show. So I felt the same way about Atlanta. And I would hear from producers like, well, Rob, we like you, but we can't find these people. They don't exist. So my thing was, I know a lot of hardworking people that, are innovative and want to do a good job and want to break in. Then I'll just create a pipeline and, and you just give them an opportunity. So we started the foundation. My wife and I did. We partnered with Nina Packer, who's been amazing, great philanthropist.
Hi, Nina.
Shout out to Nina Packer, you know what I'm saying? Set up, the foundation for Lil Wayne, among others. So she does the thing. So we partnered with the mayor of East Point, Dina Ingram, who's another FAMUan. And that was all part of the narrative, because now what we're telling productions is, come to East Point to get the good people. Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that the people have to be from East Point, but it's just more so the perception of, I have to go to the community to get the community people who are going to come and represent and make my sets be the best. Yeah. So we're 5 years in.
Wow, that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Can you just tell the audience, the listening audience, especially for aspiring filmmakers or just people to work on set, please let them know how important that PA position is. It is more than just pulling that cable or grabbing that water. They play a very important part to that production throughout the whole time. And, that's just their start. Correct. Right?
Correct. You're absolutely right. The PA position, production assistant, is just entry level to get in there. There was a rapper from my hometown named Beanie Siegel. And
I know Beanie Siegel.
You know Beanie Siegel?
Let me tell you, I got credits. I got a plaque on my wall from Beanie Siegel.
There we go. Come on now. I knew we was vibing.
Absolutely.
So Beanie Siegel had this line, this song, I Can Feel It in the Air, where he says, I may not be the captain, but I'm on the boat. And so my thing is like, get on the boat, get in the room. The production assistant, the PA position gets you in the door. So that way you can be around other filmmakers. So while you're getting paid, you push your craft on the side. So let's just say you come in and you want to be a cinematographer. Well, you're working in whatever department, but you go shoot something on the side, let people know what you're doing, and then shoot something else. And over time, the perception begins to change about you. And it's like, hey, Cardellia shoots. You want to intern in this department, and then before you know it, you'll be the director of photography because you would have done your own stuff. And then people are like, well, how do I get to be like you? But we got to be willing to come in and start at the bottom.
Yes.
So when I was trying to break in, I was a music video PA. Okay. I was a sound PA. I've done everything from commercials, PSAs, all that kind of stuff. So when we hired people in our first movie here, a lot of them would say, I've seen you before. And I was like, yeah, I used to bring you coffee.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, you did. You know?
Look at me now.
Yeah, hey, and we still here.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
That's why it's so important.
Yeah. Well, you have an amazing work, IMDb, but balancing life. What does balancing life look like? I'm sure that, it must be hard. And what is it like when it comes to making time for your wife and sons?
Balancing life is a challenge.
Yes.
Because this business requires long hours and dedication. That set life is a real thing. And again, it's not brain surgery, so we're not like solving the world's problems, but it does take a lot of time. And a lot of times with these projects, it's like being a freelance contractor. So you get paid when you work, and when you don't, you don't. So
is that the line you use?
Listen, hey, so sometimes that means you just saying yes.
Yes.
But then the trade-off is you may miss date nights and, school performances and games and all of that stuff. And so it's the balance has been at first saying yes to everything to make a living. And then at some point in time, making a decision to say, I can be the supreme director, whatever that means, and be single. Or maybe I can be a pretty good director.
Okay.
And say no to some things. And be able to kind of keep everybody together and be able to be present for specific things. And to say, okay, babe, give me 4 things I just have to be at.
Yes.
And then you try to hopefully create your schedule around that.
Yeah.
And then try to find some time for like yourself in the middle. So.
Yeah, because this business isn't for the faint at heart, right?
No.
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been a long, rewarding journey for you thus far.
Yeah.
Right? I say thus far because you still have a long way to go.
Hey, listen. Hey, we're going to knock on wood on that one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what's next for Rob Hardy?
Next for Rob Hardy from the work standpoint is developing more projects where I can help control or have more input on what the show is, how it looks, but also who we hire.
Yes.
So that way, the same way we have amazing stories, be able to try to do more stuff in Georgia to bring more work home, be able to employ more people and have some say-so over those images that are out there. I like that. And also trying to be able to expand more to do stuff to involve more young people. I just feel like, and we were just talking about it, that there's sometimes a disconnect between us and them. And, I feel like if we don't pour into them, then it's all gonna fall apart.
Absolutely.
So we gotta train them to replace us.
I was just about to say, who's gonna look after us
come on,
when we
man,
get older,
and
right?
not just take it with us.
Yes.
But then we have to show them that when you get it, then you gotta train.
Absolutely.
It can't just be about you getting money.
No, each one teach one.
Yeah.
Go back and get the next generation.
And getting money's cool, but you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
A few little questions I want to ask since it's around the holiday time.
Okay.
All right. This Christmas is playing in all the Black households during the holidays. Did you expect it to have the longevity it has?
I was cautiously optimistic. I thought it was a great movie. The soundtrack was great, and you just never know what's going to take off. But I thought that they did a real good job. Will especially bringing it all together to where you felt the holiday spirit. The music was good. You liked the drama. So it's something I look forward to seeing every year. So I'm gonna say I wasn't surprised.
Wasn't surprised. Great talent.
Yeah.
Great talent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would you ever try your hand at a scary movie or horror movie? And if so, who would you cast?
Yes, I would try my hand at that. And who would I cast? I would love to cast somebody like Chris Tucker or Desi Banks. Just because those are two different generational talents. And I feel like you could have a great perspective of the average person and have some subtle comedy within it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. We're in the holiday season. What does the holidays look like in your home?
Good food.
Yes. Who's cooking?
My wife's cooking.
Okay.
My wife's cooking. Yeah. I may help with like the amazing salad, and I make drinks.
Oh, okay.
So I got the adult drinks.
Okay.
And so we'll have some family come over and we'll watch some games.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's some of those good drinks that you mix? And you say you make the salad. What kind of salad?
Okay, so food-wise, I'll make like a Greek salad.
Okay.
Do stuff like that.
All right.
I can make sangria, Moscow mules, old-fashioned, stuff like that. So I'm more of like a festive type person. Or I'll look up like a holiday drink.
Okay.
And make that.
You be on Pinterest?
I do. I do.
They have some good holiday drinks.
Listen, they have like that. They have like that warm cider.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the Appletons.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you working through the holiday season?
Yes and no. So I'm not actually working like on the holidays itself, but we work up until like the weekend before, and then like right after New Year's we're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know by the time December, I'll be like, when y'all going home?
Yeah.
For Christmas? Don't y'all want to go home with your family?
Listen.
Look, don't come back right after New Year's. Just take a few days.
Listen, that depends on the show.
Yeah, I know. That fourth quarter will burn you out, though.
And I remember one time I was doing a show, and it was my first time going there, and I said, hey, so on this one day it's Thanksgiving. So are we gonna get off the day before to fly home? And they were like, no, we're gonna work. I said, okay. So booked my flight. I'm out in LA. And the day before Thanksgiving, the actors decided we're not working today, so everybody goes home. But I couldn't do it because the flights were booked, so I flew home Thanksgiving.
You made it home, though.
Yeah, I did make it home. But that's but it's stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your top movies for Christmas?
For Christmas, ironically, this Christmas, and Coolie High.
Coolie High.
Those are always on, and Rocky. Rocky's always on some channel. And I wind up like wherever it comes on, I want to watch that whole movie.
Yeah, yeah. I think Rocky's everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
What's on your Thanksgiving plate?
Collard greens with turkey.
Yes.
And fried turkey. I like that. And I do like mac and cheese and cranberry sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't say stuffing or dressing, so.
Nah, that's not really my ministry.
Okay.
But the mac and cheese, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. I love mac and cheese. Yeah. It's Christmas Day. What are you watching on TV?
Christmas Day, I'm watching basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the highlight basketball game is. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We get about 3 a day. You catch all 3?
Probably. I mean, so like it's usually going to be some version of the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a big LeBron fan. And if the Sixers or the Hawks are playing, I'm gonna be biased towards those teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And Thanksgiving, it's football.
Football all day.
Yeah. We watching Philly.
Listen, Eagles.
Yes.
That's the squad. Titans were my dad's team, and now I've been watching Colorado.
We all been on the Colorado tip right now.
Any team that Deion is on is my de facto bandwagon team.
Yes. Now, are you a real Philly fan?
Yeah. No question.
What's that song? Fly,
Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Yeah, exactly. No, that's
yes.
my song.
You know, and I said that because last year when the Eagles was getting ready to go to the Super Bowl, the last game before, and they asked Jalen Hurts, who, if everybody don't know who that is, that's the amazing quarterback, to sing the song.
Yes.
And so someone was getting ready to hand him the paper. And I guess he was like, I just ain't playing. Like, this is my team.
Yeah.
He didn't take that paper and he knew all the words. And I was just like, I'm really a big fan now.
Yeah.
So
Jalen is the guy. You know what I'm saying?
The guy.
Yeah. And we're 2-0.
And you're 2-0.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a jersey, so I'm trying to, I'm trying to be in Vegas.
Hey.
You going to Vegas?
If they go, I'm going.
Get us a suite. Let's go. I'm going to rob. Y'all heard that? Miss Hardy, can I come? Yes. Hey, this was fun.
It has been. Look, I appreciate you having me. Yes. I appreciate the spirit. You got like a family spirit. You sure you ain't like lightweight? Go to
well, you know, Graham first. We let y'all come on in. So, it's good. Well, I think, let me tell you what it is. You know, we are the real black and gold. And then you got the orange and green, and then you became into that black and gold family. So,
It's all good.
Good folks.
I mean, look, y'all got the history, Eddie Robinson, all of that. So respect on that.
Respect on that. And respect that you guys meant business when you guys said you guys were coming into the SWAC because y'all got us. So
I appreciate that.
I don't think we play you guys this year. Next year, we're going to try to regain that title. But, it's always HBCU love.
I would say the last time I went to family homecoming, it was, we took our boys with us. So we go to the game and we're playing Grambling. And the game is cool, it's close. all of a sudden it was a bench clearing brawl. FAMU versus Grambling, it was happening. And
Really?
then, I promise, then it gets, then everybody, you know, cooler heads prevail, they go back. And they drop some old school beat, and everybody starts dancing
like we all
and my boy was like, I'm going to a black school.
Because ain't no way you come here brawl and party.
Yeah, because it was love. It all got stopped. Yeah. And the music came. Everybody did the thing, you know. And my Grambling guys would call me like, but Grambling won the fight, though. I know they did.
It don't matter. We're talking about what's the stacks that's going in history.
Yeah,
we lost,
but the fact that you had all that energy and all that love at the same time.
And the fact that whoever put the music on knew how
they
to
knew
bring
what
it
it
back
was.
together.
They knew what it was.
Yeah, they probably put Loose the Neck on and we went a little crazy,
I mean, you know.
Yeah. So tell the audience how they can keep up with you.
Yeah, so to find me, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Real Rob Hardy. REAL Rob ROBHARDY.
Yeah, follow him, you guys. He's doing amazing things. Yes, well, I want to thank you for this.
I thank you for having me.
Excellent. Well, that's a wrap for us today. But make sure you tune in every Tuesday to catch more jewels of I Do Film. Follow us on all social media platforms at I Do Film Atlanta. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm your host, Cardellia Hunter. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time.